Welcome back to lesson number 9. Today we are going to, we don't really have homework to review, just the test. So as soon as I
sent your my homework. Did you get it?
Fatima, I haven't gotten anything from you, no.
Even Tuesday? On Tuesday I sent it to you.
Where
are
you sending it?
By this, here, by your phone number.
Oh, you sent it to my phone. Okay, no, I was looking in my email address for it. I don't see anything in my inbox. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so let's
And the others homework too.
Okay. Let's get started here, Fatima. Which is more beautiful, Miami or Denver?
Oh, Miami, sorry.
You think Miami's more beautiful?
Yes.
Okay.
For me.
It is if you're right on the beach, but gosh, I just love being here in Denver with the view of the mountains. I mean, it's just amazing. Every time you wake up and look outside, it's like, wow, there
I
they
prefer beach.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
why, maybe.
I love the beach too, but I think Denver's more beautiful than Miami.
Okay.
Which sport is more boring, soccer or baseball?
Baseball. Not for you.
I think soccer's more boring, yep.
Yeah, I know.
Who is friendlier? Well, you're not working right now, so we'll skip that one. Which is more humid, the jungle or the desert?
I think the desert.
Is more humid?
Oh, humid. Yeah, no, the jungle.
Jungle. Oh, no doubt about that. Yeah, the desert is the opposite of humidity.
Yes, it's hot.
Which is more interesting, Dali or Picasso?
Picasso, of course.
I prefer Dali. Dali is my favorite artist. Yeah.
He's the crazy pictures and paintings.
Well, so is Picasso. I mean, Picasso, they're both, kind of abstract and surreal painters.
Yes.
Okay, the past perfect. We've seen it in the past, I do believe. It's used to show that one event happened before another event happened in the past tense. So to put it on like a time continuum for you here. So imagine at 7 p.m., I got home from work. At 6:45 p.m., my husband made dinner. When I got home from work, my husband had made dinner already. Okay, to show that that activity happened before the other activity happened. Okay, so we need the past tense of the verb have, so we're going to use had in the past tense, and there's no changes here. I, you, we, they, he, she, it, it's all the same. And then you need the participle of the verb, okay? Probably 9 out of 10 times the participle is the same thing as the past tense, but there are also exceptions to that. So I wanted to see Superman, but the last showing had started already. By the time I got to work, the meeting had ended. We went to our favorite restaurant for dinner, but when we got there, it had already closed. Fill in the blanks here.
We arrived to school, the classes had already started.
Good.
I felt exhausted because I had run 10 miles.
Good.
He had studied that book before he arrived in Pakistan. She had sold.
She had
sold. Sorry. All the copies of the thesaurus before we got there. We went to his place for dinner, but to our great surprise, he had his dinner.
Very good. That one's always confusing. but that's correct.
Yeah. When I got up this morning, the sun had already
Risen.
risen. Sorry. Before we got the show had begun.
Good.
He had finished his work before I began mine.
Excellent.
It has begun to rain when I stepped out of the house. Begun.
Begun, yeah, good.
Begun. Soon after they had completed their homework, they ran out to play with dog.
Good. All right, very good. Okay, let's take a look at the negative form. Here you just put the word not after had, and we also have a contraction with had and not, so you can say hadn't. I hadn't seen the movie before last night. She hadn't read the instructions on the manual, so she ended up building a crooked shelf. We hadn't been to Seattle until this last weekend, or they hadn't paid so much for dinner until last night. Okay? Tell me 5 things that you had not done before moving to the United States.
I think you hadn't done before coming to. Let's see. I hadn't been to ski until.
Yeah, I hadn't gone skiing.
Oh, gone skiing.
Or you could say I hadn't been skiing, but you don't say been to. Just I hadn't been skiing or I hadn't gone skiing. Good.
Okay.
Good.
Let's see. I hadn't seen snow until I came here.
Oh, really?
No, it's not, no. It's
You
just
never
an
saw snow
example.
in Europe?
It's just an example.
No, but don't give me examples. Tell me the truth.
Oh, okay. Let's.
Always, Fatima, with me. I always want to know the real. This is real conversation.
Yeah, but I'm trying to do the sentence. What? I don't know. Okay, I hadn't studied English before I came here.
Good.
It wasn't true anyway.
You hadn't studied English with me.
With David. Okay. What else? Everything is about me, right?
Yeah. Or
I had.
Or yeah.
Okay. My mom hadn't been in the mountains.
Okay.
I hadn't had a car.
Okay.
Or UB.
Or here you can say to own in the past progressive. So I in the past perfect. I hadn't owned a car.
On the car. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Before I came.
All right. Okay, so if you want to make a question, just like everything else, you flip it around. So you start with had. Had she played rugby before today? Had Jenny learned how to play the harp? Had she known you were my girlfriend? Had Crystal made coffee for everybody this morning? Okay. So, Fatima, had you studied English before you started studying with me?
No, I haven't.
No, I hadn't.
Hadn't. With it's a past, right?
Yeah. So
Uh-huh.
you say, no, I had not studied English before I started studying with you.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to say the whole sentence?
Yeah, but I heard you say have. You have to say had. H-A-D.
Hadn't.
Hadn't. That's what I'm correcting you on.
Okay.
Okay. Had you visited the United States before moving to the United States?
Yes, I have
Good.
visited the US before moving here. Yes.
Had you planned on eating what you ate last night?
No, I hadn't.
Had. Hadn't.
No, hadn't.
There you go.
Hadn't.
Had you seen
Can I use had not?
You can say
Or
had not, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Had you seen snow before living in Colorado?
Yes, I had seen snow before living in here in Colorado.
Good. I'll ask you this differently. Where had you worked before you started your last job?
I have worked in a telephone company.
Good. All right. So the word if we can use to talk about possibilities, okay? So I might say something like, if someone buys me a drink, I always say thank you, okay? So when we phrase it like this, in this particular situation, the first part of this sentence is a condition, and the second part is what happens if the condition is met, okay? So try and complete these sentences, Fatima.
If I don't have to work, I'll be millionaire. Because I don't need to work. How come?
It doesn't. That one doesn't work, Fatima.
Or okay.
This is more like, hey, if I don't have to work, I go to the park. If I don't have to go to the work, I do something else. You know what I mean?
Okay. If I don't have to work, I'll be studying.
If I don't have to work, I study.
I study.
You don't want to mix it with the future tense here. Okay, so if I don't have to work, I study.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're just giving this is a hypothetical situation, right?
Okay.
If my boss
give me a raise, I spend with my friends. With my friends.
Good.
If my house catches on fire, I call the firemen.
Yeah, good.
If my parents come to visit, I go to Boulder.
Good. Or we go to Boulder if my parents we go to Boulder.
If
or maybe you don't want to spend time with your parents, so you leave them at home and then you go to Boulder.
Oh, you are bad.
I'm sorry, Mama, I can't. I'm in Boulder.
Okay. If it's the snow tomorrow, I ski.
Good, yeah, perfect.
If I'm running late to work, I stay in home.
That doesn't work. That doesn't make sense.
Okay, I call my boss.
There you go. Yeah, good.
If I don't understand someone, I tell he or she repeat again.
Yeah, here you could say, if I don't understand someone, I ask that person to repeat.
To repeat, okay. If my children get sick, I take to the doctor. I take them to the doctor.
Good, Fatima. Perfect. All right, let's do a little listening activity here. Give me 2 seconds so I can bring this up here. All right, share my screen. We're gonna do this one. Okay, so pay attention. We're just gonna watch this video. It takes about 5 minutes, and then we are gonna talk about it. Share computer sound.
Oh, that's tech. Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Yeah.
To most of you, this is a device to buy, sell, play games, watch videos. I think it might be a lifeline. I think actually it might be able to save more lives than penicillin. Texting. I know I say texting and a lot of you think sexting. A lot of you think about the lewd photos that you see, hopefully not your kid sending to somebody else, or trying to translate the abbreviations LOL, LMAO, HMU. I can help you with those later. But the parents in the room know that texting is actually the best way to communicate with your kids. Might be the only way to communicate with your kids. The average teenager sends 3,339 text messages a month. Unless she's a girl, and then it's closer to 4,000. And the secret is she opens every single one. Texting has a 100% open rate. Now the parents are really alarmed. It's a 100% open rate even if she doesn't respond to you when you ask her when she's coming home for dinner. I promise she read that text. And this isn't some suburban iPhone-using teen phenomena. Texting actually over-indexes for minority and urban youth. I know this because at DoSomething.org, which is the largest organization for teenagers and social change in America, about 6 months ago we pivoted and started focusing on text messaging. We're now texting out to about 200,000 kids a week about doing our campaigns to make their schools more green or to work on homeless issues and things like that. We're finding it 11 times more powerful than email. But we've also found an unintended consequence. We've been getting text messages back like these. I don't want to go to school today. The boys call me faggot. I was cutting. My parents found out and so I stopped, but I just started again an hour ago. Or, he won't stop raping me. He told me not to tell anyone. It's my dad. Are you there? That last one's an actual text message that we received. And yeah, we're there. I will not forget the day we got that text message. And so it was that day that we decided we needed to build a crisis text hotline. Because this isn't what we do. We do social change. Kids are just sending us these text messages because texting is so familiar and comfortable to them, and there's nowhere else to turn, that they're sending them to us. So think about it, a text hotline, it's pretty powerful. It's fast, it's pretty private, no one hears you in a stall, you're just texting quietly, it's real time. We could help millions of teens with counseling and referrals. That's great. But the thing that really makes this awesome is the data. Because I'm not really comfortable just helping that girl with counseling and referrals. I want to prevent this shit from happening. So think about a comp. There's something in New York City that the police did. It used to be just guesswork, police work, and then they started crime mapping. And so they started following and watching petty thefts, summonses, all kinds of things, charting the future, essentially. And they found things like when you see crystal meth on the street, if you add police presence, you can curb the otherwise inevitable spate of assaults and robberies that would happen. In fact, the year after the NYPD put CompStat in place, the murder rate fell 60%. So think about the data from a crisis text line. There is no census on bullying and dating abuse and eating disorders and cutting and rape. No census. Maybe there's some studies, some longitudinal studies that cost lots of money and took lots of time. Or maybe there's some anecdotal evidence. Imagine having real-time data on every one of those issues. You could inform legislation, you could inform school policy, you could say to a principal, you're having a problem every Thursday at 3 o'clock. What's going on in your school? You could see the immediate impact of legislation or a hateful speech that somebody gives in a school assembly and see what happens as a result. This is really, to me, the power of texting and the power of data. Because while people are talking about data, making it possible for Facebook to find my friend from the 3rd grade, or Target to know when it's time for me to buy more diapers, or some dude to build a better baseball team, I'm actually really excited about the power of data and the power of texting to help that kid go to school, to help that girl stop cutting in the bathroom, and absolutely to help that girl whose father is raping her. Thank you.
Okay. Wow.
No, is that true?
What a presentation.
Yeah.
What a presentation, huh? So tell me, Fatima, how much of this were you able to understand? Was it pretty easy for you to understand all of it?
Yes, kind of.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So what was this presentation about? What was she talking about?
She was talking about the test message about the phone. That is so many message by the children can do every day.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she was talking about some examples like the police. Everybody can talk by sending a message. So, and the last part was a rape like the father abused the child.
That was one of the claims, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's very hard.
Do you view technology favorably, typically? Do you think technology is a good thing?
Yes and no.
Okay, explain that to me.
I think it's important to be with the technologies because it's more easy for you, easier, right?
It's easier.
Easier for you because you can do everything faster and easier. But for the other hand, it's not
On the other hand,
that's
on the other hand.
on the other hand, it's not too easy because you don't memorize some phones numbers, names, places, so many things.
Yeah.
So you can thinking about just look at the phone and dial or see the address and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely pros and cons for technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the for people can less jobs for people and they needed to work because they are using machines and robots and all the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, pluses and minuses about technology.
Mm-hmm.
Do you use text messaging a lot?
No text. No, I'm chatting. I
I'm
prefer
sorry?
chatting. Chat.
Oh,
Chat
you use like,
WhatsApp. Uh-huh.
oh, you do? Okay. When you
It's
use,
not the same, right? It's not the same.
I mean, it's essentially the same thing.
Okay.
Using WhatsApp, doing a chat is the same thing as a text message. It's essentially
It's
the
the
same thing.
same.
From what
Okay.
I don't use WhatsApp very much, except for sometimes I get prospective students that are living in another country, and so it's a useful way to communicate with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't fully understand.
I prefer to call.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
prefer to call.
why would you, do you use WhatsApp with people that are here in the United States?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
yes, I have
Because
to.
I
I
noticed
have to
sometimes I
because
have,
they are working or something. So they answer me when they are free time. When they have free time.
yeah. But I mean, that's no different than a text message, right? Somebody's working,
Yeah, I
they
think it's
return
the
the text
same.
message when they're free too.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's the same. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I get messages sometimes on WhatsApp, and I'm like, why don't you just call me, or why don't you just send me the send it to my text message, because I don't check WhatsApp very much.
Oh.
One thing that's very difficult about technology in this day and age, for like part of what I do in terms of student enrollment, signing new students up, is everybody has their own preference of communication. Some people prefer phone calls, some people prefer text messages, some people prefer emails, and now I see some people prefer to communicate on Facebook, some people prefer WhatsApp, some people prefer, like, you have all these different ways to communicate with people.
Yeah.
And it's
Okay.
very confusing to try and manage all these different things.
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing that I hate is when somebody call me by video call.
If you're not expecting it,
I don't like it.
yeah, me neither. If you're not, I think it's very intrusive, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's invasive, it's an invasion of your privacy.
Your privacy, yes.
Yeah. There's only like, the only person that I really do video calls with is my dad, and only when I have my son, so that my dad can see my son, because my dad lives in Georgia.
Oh.
And so that's nice for them to be able to do the video calls. But yeah,
Yeah.
other than that, typically you want to, I honestly, I don't do video calls very much,
Yeah, I do with my son, my daughter, my family. They are in Spain. Sometimes my friends, they are living in other countries.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No,
but I asked them first.
you asked first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Yeah. Outside of, just technology too, we also have like kind of cultural and, I guess, behavioral norms and things that are acceptable. And one thing that's been really interesting just over the past, I I remember when there weren't cell phones, like it was a big deal when I was 16. I think I got my first cell phone, and I was like, oh man, look at this, like, wow, I've got this phone. But now it's just how fast the technology is changing. I mean, it's like every year, like almost every single year, there's a new big change in what people are into. Like now everybody's all crazy about this TikTok thing. Like last year it was Instagram. The year before that it was Pinterest. The year, and it's just constantly changing.
Yeah, Twitter.
I'm traditional. I prefer a phone. I just like the phone. I just like,
And now nobody use the phone the phone for your house.
I know. I don't have a house phone.
Nobody has. Yeah.
I was thinking about getting one though.
Everybody's using the cell for everything.
Cool. Well, what do you think about this woman's proposal about creating a text hotline for kids so that they can text in about whatever problems they're experiencing?
Maybe it's a good idea.
Yeah, it could very well be a good idea.
Because they are in dangers, because of technology.
It is true that when you can learn how to, like, for me personally, I don't like text messages very much. And this is a, like, you know, she was talking about the 100% open rate. I don't think that's true, because
Yeah.
there's service outages, and there's sometimes if you're in bad reception, you don't, you know, a message won't receive it. Or I've had it where I've gotten a text message from somebody and I call them back and they say, oh, I sent that to you last week. You just got it? And I'm like, yeah. It happens.
Mhm.
It happens. The technology is not perfect. But I
Okay.
do think, you know, there are certain uses where I do think it's a very powerful means of communication, but it's just so hard
Mhm.
trying to kind of navigate, you know, what's the right time to call someone? What's the right time to text someone? Or, you know, and like kids don't make phone calls. They just go back and forth
No,
text.
no
I do,
anymore.
I do not understand that. For me, it's a whole lot easier to do this, right? Than to
Hmm.
just constantly go back and forth via text. But
And I think if you talk, everybody can hear you. So that's why they use text
this,
message.
they're more comfortable. They're being secretive, right?
Uh, I don't know. It's so strange. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think also there's another thing about technology is technology also moves a lot faster than like the legal field, law and legislation, and
Hmm.
also a lot faster than, you know, people's understanding of what's polite and acceptable behavior too. And it's like,
Yeah.
I feel like almost right now they need to kind of start teaching this in school. Like, what is
Mm.
acceptable behavior for
And now with this, with the virus, you can teach online. They can go to classes online. So everything.
yeah. All
It's
right.
not. It's not good.
Okay, well, let's see here. Let's get back to the moving on to the next slide here. Okay, she has versus she is. She's from
Mhm.
Mexico. She's been to Mexico. What's the difference here?
But she is from Mexico, and
Okay.
she's like a when in past, like
Yeah.
she stayed there.
So like the way you did it, where you broke the contraction into two different words, how would you do that with that next one? So
What?
like the
Sorry,
first one, it's she's, and you split it into two words. She is from Mexico.
she is.
What does the next one split into?
She has been.
There you go. Yeah, that's the difference, right? So one is
Mm-hmm.
just the present simple tense and one is the present perfect tense.
Present.
But notice
Mm-hmm.
it's the same contraction, okay? So this is where English gets a little bit tricky, right? And you have to learn to
Mm.
look at the context of the full sentence here. Um,
Can you say she is been?
no, you cannot say that.
No.
No.
Mm. Okay.
All right, so looking at these examples that we've got here, what's the present perfect? What's the simple present? What's the present progressive? Okay, I think that he's in Miami this weekend visiting his girlfriend. Which tense is that in?
Okay. I think that he is in Miami this week visiting. Present progressive
No,
because visiting.
yeah, I guess technically you're right. He is visiting his girlfriend in Miami. Yeah, that would either be yeah, that's the progressive. Number two, Fatima.
She's yoga instructor, but she also works at the bank. Present perfect.
This is just the
Sorry, simple present.
simple present. Yeah.
Yeah. He's broken the law many times before. Present perfect.
That's the perfect. Yep. Good.
I have known Mary since high school. That's present perfect.
Good. Yeah.
It's raining again. He's present progressive.
Good.
It's been raining every day since last Tuesday. Is a present progressive or
Yeah, so this is actually the
present
present perfect progressive.
progressive? Yeah, both, right?
Yeah.
What do you think of the trash goes? It's so interesting to think about, don't you think? Simple present
Yeah,
and a progressive and progressive.
it's got both elements of it. Yep, very good.
It's beaten a few people. It's present perfect.
Good. Okay, good. You have a really good handle on that then. Good. All right. Modal verbs include words like can, could, may, might, must, should, and would. Okay. So these are all used typically to talk about possibilities in hypothetical situations. We have all the different things broken out for you: a likelihood, an obligation, permission, capacity, a suggested possibility of action, or a suggested command. Okay, we'll take a look at each of these individually. So the word can is also interchangeable with the phrase to be able to. Okay, so you could say, I can go to the Pepsi Center with you tonight, or I'm able to go with you to the Pepsi Center tonight. Can you use this in an example?
With both?
Can you use this in an example? Can?
I can do my homework after my class.
Easy peasy.
Good.
All right, now the word could has kind of two different uses in English. It's the simple past tense of the word can. Man, I'm sorry that I couldn't help you yesterday. Okay, so that's the past tense. And it's also the conditional form of the word can. I could go with you if I had more money. That's the condition, but I can't. Okay, can you use could in an example?
I was trying to send you my test, but I couldn't because I don't know the internet, maybe.
Yeah. All right. May has a few different reasons. It can be used to ask permission. For example, may I borrow your umbrella, in a question form like that. And it can be used to express hopes. May all your wishes come true. Okay.
But it's the same may or can, right?
And sometimes it can be interchanged with can. Yes. That's like that.
Sometimes.
Yeah, so that would be the same as the first sample used to ask for permission. May I borrow your umbrella? Can I borrow your umbrella? May sounds just a little bit more formal. It's a little bit more formal, or I don't know if it's technically more polite, but it's just more, it sounds more formal. Okay. And then, yeah, there's that next example for you. Can I go to the bathroom? May I go to the bathroom?
The same.
Yep. Can you use the word may in an example?
Can I do my test tomorrow? Or may I? No?
May I? What? Give me the full sentence, Fatima.
May I do?
You've got to keep talking. I don't, like, you haven't said anything yet.
Or maybe can I? No, sorry. Can I send my test?
But go back with the word may, Fatima. I want you to use may. The problem is you just said may I do. You didn't say anything. You have to continue your thought.
But I think it's wrong.
But say it. Let me hear you say it.
Okay. Can I do?
But I want you to use the word may, Fatima.
May I? With do?
You have to say everything. I don't know what you're trying to say. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You haven't said anything yet.
Okay. May I send the test after my class?
Yes, you may. That works. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you. Say it, because you didn't say, you just said, may I, and then you stopped, and I don't know what you're trying to say. You're looking for me to correct you before you said anything.
Okay.
Okay, might. Might is used to express some sort of a possibility in the present or in the future. So for example, I might be at the meeting, but I might be too busy to attend. Or talking in the future, I might go to that party tomorrow. Can you use the word might in an example?
I might go to Miami next week.
Perfect. Really?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, I want to go on a vacation so bad.
Yeah.
I need a vacation so bad.
I mean, yeah.
I was looking yesterday. I found out, I've never been there, but I found out there's this place called Blue Mesa Reservoir here in Colorado. Apparently it's a really big lake in the mountains. It's about 4 hours away from here, but you can rent boats, and they have a beach, and you can, they have cabins.
Wow.
They have
Where it is?
it's like 4 hours. It's in Gunnison.
Okay, no.
It's close to Crested Butte. So I'm hoping right now I want to plan. It's too last minute for this weekend, and I've got stuff going on, but maybe in like 2 weeks, I'm going to try and plan a trip there with my son and my mom, because it looks beautiful.
Oh, nice.
And it's only 4 hours away, so we could leave on a Friday.
Yeah, come back on Sunday.
And come back on Sunday. Yeah, be a perfect little trip. Okay, must is used to express an obligation. We must hurry if we want to catch our plane. He must study in order to pass that medical exam. You must put on your seatbelt. This can be interchanged with like you need to or you have to.
Mandatory, right?
What's that?
It's a mandatory when you use must.
It's mandatory, yeah. Right? It's not optional. It's a must. You can say it just like that. It's a must. We, in conversational English, at least here in the United States, we don't use this word very often. You see it a lot in writing, like on contracts or on, it sounds very formal. We don't use it a lot in day-to-day speech. I do think in England they use it a little bit more than we do in the United States. It can also be used to express an assumption, okay? Tony must be tired after all that hard work. Here is where we use it in the United States. We would use it more often like this, right? You see your husband get home from really late from work, and you're like, where have you been? Oh, I've been at the office this whole time. Oh my gosh, you must be exhausted, right? Like, you've been working until 10. We use this a lot in English, okay? He must be exhausted after that long weekend backpacking in the mountains. So in this situation, it shows more of an assumption, right? I assume that he's very exhausted, okay? Can you use this one in an example, Fatima?
Yeah, I must to pay my bills on time.
Yeah, don't put to in there. I must pay.
I must pay my bills on time. If I don't want to pay late fee.
Perfect, you got it. All right, should has a few different uses in English. It can be used to express an obligation. For example, Frank should apologize to Mary. If he did something wrong, he should apologize to Mary. Do you think I should go to the wedding? Like, I kind of have to. It can be used to talk about possibilities. I should be able to come to yoga class tonight, but I might have to work. And then for expectations, you should remove your hat in the theater. She should be able to finish her project by Friday night. Okay? On top of it, I'm surprised it's not listed here, but it's also used to give suggestions, advice, and recommendations. Okay, can you use the word should in an example?
Okay. I should
Should.
do. I should eat health food to be healthier.
Yeah, I should eat better food to be healthy.
Better
Good. Yeah, perfect. All right, would is most commonly used in the conditional tense. So you can add any verb to the, or you can add would before any verb to make the conditional tense. So the new law would require further spending, okay? And then finally for requests as well. It's a very, it's a polite way to ask people for things. Would you please pass me the salt? Would you join us for dinner? I would like a cup of coffee. Okay, sounds very formal.
It's
and
like a may, right?
yeah.
May I?
It's not 100% interchangeable with may, but it is this along
This
the
is more
similar.
future. That's more future, right?
Yeah, it's used in the same way to make things to sound very formal and polite. Can you use
Okay.
this in an example? Would?
I would like to go on vacation.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. All right, you got it, Fatima. Let's see here. That was it for this lesson. So we're finished with today's lesson. That was lesson number 9. So make sure in your book to do lesson number 9, okay? And then send that over to me here.
That's
Okay.
number 9.
Lesson
Oh,
number 9.
this was number